and the moderator for this evening. On behalf of the UES PTO and all other schools in this district, I would like to welcome you to Sam Sell Upper Elementary School and tonight's Meet the Candidates night. Before we begin, please stand to salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to thank Lisa Reback, Cynthia Gallagher, and all those who were instrumental in organizing tonight's event. Lisa Reback will be our timekeeper. I would like to introduce the UES principal, Mrs. Mayer, and the vice principal, Mrs. Brady, and thank them for allowing us to hold this event here at the UES. I would also like to thank Dr. Frank Alfano, Marilyn Zeichner-Shedlack, and Ann Facendo for helping us get the word out about tonight's event. Finally, I would like to state that we are looking forward to a civil, polite, and informative discussion this evening. At this time, I would like to ask you to turn off all your cell phones and electronic devices. You should have all received the brochure this evening with a little information about each candidate. I would like to point out that there is room on the back for you to take notes as the evening progresses. This year, we have 6 candidates running for 3-year positions. Their seating was chosen as they are sitting up here now. They are as follows. We have Dan Balka, we have Tom Bisada, we have Lucy Bloom, we have Helen Bruno Racuya, we have John Walsh. Oh, I'm sorry, William Kilpatrick, excuse me. I need to see if the plant's in there. And so it begins. Okay. Now you will please refer to the program that you received. There are rules for this evening. I'm not going to go over them all individually. If you would reference them as we're going on with the evening, but I'd like to say that there's time limits will be strictly enforced. Each candidate will have up to 1.5 minutes to answer each question, and afterwards, when we're done with all the questions, then it will be open up to the general public. You can come up here and use this microphone for your questions. Okay, and so we begin. Oh, I'm not finished with this yet. Okay, we're going to start with the questions. The following questions will each be addressed to 2 candidates randomly. Yes, and then the top questions. All the candidates will answer the following 2 questions. Our first question will be asked to John Walsh. Mr. Walsh, at the end of your term, what would you like to have accomplished?
Okay, first of all, thanks so much for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the issues, and I want to thank everyone up here because regardless of whether we disagree on issues, I think it's very important that public service is extremely important. And I think I respect everyone up here for putting their name on the line and their issues. At the end of my term, there's so many important issues in education at Sayreville. But I think what trumps all of them is teacher retention. Last year, we lost over 60 teachers. We lost 60 teachers the year before that. So I'm sure everyone up here has great ideas. I have great ideas of things we want to get done. But what good is training anyone or anything we implement if our teachers are gone? We're talking about over 120 teachers in 2 years. So I hope I can make life at Sayreville a little better for our teachers that they want to stay. I realize as much as anyone, resources are limited. You know, I'm not going to up here lie and say we can pay our teachers a ton of money to make them stay. But we can make an educational environment that they want to work in, they want to succeed in. I work with these people. I know that they have a fire in them, that they want the very best for our children. That's why my kids go to school in Sayreville too. They want the best for them, but we have to make them want to stay. And without a doubt, I think every issue is trumped by teacher retention. So I hope when my term is over, we make Sayreville a more friendly place for our teachers to stay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The first bell is the 10-second one.
Okay. 10 seconds?
10-second warning.
Okay. There'll be a 10-second warning for this. And Mr. Baca, the same question. At the end of your term, what would you like to have accomplished?
I'm sure all of us have the same goals up here. We all want the best for the district. We want our students to achieve whatever they want. Whatever they want, to have the right tools to pursue any opportunities they want after high school or whatever. So we want them to be qualified to go to any college they want to go to. We want our test scores to improve. So we all want the, of course, we want
Can't hear you.
Of course, part of teacher retention will help with that too, but I think the main goal is just to improve the district so that the students can pursue whatever career paths they want, whatever opportunities they want, and have them prepared to continue on the road to further education or to jobs or whatever choice they have.
Thank you. And Mrs. Helen Vakuya, same question. At the end of your term, what would you like to have accomplished?
I don't know if I can fit it all in. I'd like to really work on improving our technology. We've made great strides so far. We have, by the end of this year, we should have over 3,000 devices for our kids, including iPads and Chromebooks. I want to keep that going so we have even more. That means more than half of our students will have a device that they could use all at the same time. We also have the technology that we've put in over the past couple of years that I've been the head of the technology committee, that we are wireless in every classroom now, so we can handle all of that. Having our kids better with technology will help them on our standardized testing. PARC is a test that's coming up that aligns with the new Common Core standards. What I want to accomplish is I want to be sure that our kids are ready for that testing. In terms of retaining our teachers, I serve on the negotiations committee for our teacher contract. I did it the last time the contract was up. The teachers received over an 8% raise the last time, which is well above the county average. And I'm hoping to improve their pay now, which is why I'm sitting on the committee. Also, I'm working with Assemblyman Craig Coughlin to have a law passed that allows staff of boards of ed to donate sick time to each other. So if someone suffers from a serious illness and they need sick time, staff will be able to directly donate their time to each other. That's just some of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Bouchard, same question. At the end of your term, what would you like to have accomplished?
This is two parts for me. First of all, I'd like to improve the education that our students are receiving right now. If anyone's ever attended a meeting, one of the issues that I've always brought up is the fact that we have our server curriculum, East Brunswick has their curriculum. What I'd like to see done is have a Middlesex County curriculum, that the students in East Brunswick aren't getting a better education than the students in Sayreville. We should also be able to receive the same education within the county, within the state, but it doesn't work that way anymore. So again, I'd like to see our students receive a much better education, and we're working on that right now. The board as a whole has been working on improving curriculum, AP courses, etc. The second issue is maintaining and upgrading our facilities. As head of the building and grounds, one of the issues that I think that we've done over the years, when budgets didn't pass years ago, the first thing that was taken out was a capital improvement. During the tenure that I've been on board, one of the things working with the committees and the board is that we have upgraded. We put roofs on, and we have continued to upgrade our heating systems. That's an issue because without a good facility, our students are going to suffer because just imagine a roof imploding. Where are the students going to go? They're going to sit out on the front lawn of a salamander as a classroom? No, it can't be that way. This is two of the issues that I really would address is the education of our students and also maintaining our facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lucy Bloom. Hi. Yes, same question. At the end of your term, what would you like to have accomplished?
At the end of my term, I would like to have people say that I served long and well. I would like to, again, as my colleagues here have said, help improve the quality of education, but we have to do that by giving our staff what they need to educate our children. If we are continually one of the lowest per capita districts in Middlesex County on expenditure per student, that doesn't say much for how we're moving forward. We need to put more money where the children are so that they can have everything they need, current textbooks, workbooks, whatever it takes to get that done. I also agree with Mr. Bishada as regards the facilities. Having worked in this district for 15 years, I know that some of these buildings are very interesting. I won't pay attention to that. But they need to be maintained, and I know it's at a great cost, but we have to keep the buildings because that's where the children are, and in the end, it's all about the children.
Thank you. And William Kilpatrick. And at the end of your term, what would you like to have accomplished?
Well, good evening, and thank you very much for allowing me to come up here tonight. I think at the end of my term, if I'm elected, I would like to reverse the trend of our middle school and high school rankings as they continue to plummet while our administrative salaries keep skyrocketing. Creating other positions such as a second assistant superintendent, and I think this money needs to be directed back towards the children. I too definitely want to retain good teachers. This town unfortunately doesn't have a good reputation. People aren't even able to get interviews, especially people that are from Sayreville. They come out of honors from college and they can't even get an interview in this town. I certainly want to reverse that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, same thing, a minute and a half to answer, and I'm going to randomly choose who's going to go first. First up is Lucy Bloom. What are your ideas for resolving the overcrowding issue in our schools, and which of the current plans do you support?
My understanding right now is that we have a consultant who is looking into what would be best resolved or say to use. The current plan, as far as overcrowding, I believe was to either add on or to redistrict. Again, if we're going to add on, we're going to improve the school, that's going to cost money. But it has to be done because we have to have a place to put the children. The consultant's report certainly would guide any direction that the board would take. And I believe that I could work with the board and the administration to come to the best result that would be the least disruptive to the children and their families.
Thank you. And next is John Walsh.
Well, this is a problem that's staring me in the face. Because my son is a second grader at Eisenhower School. So if there's any parents from Eisenhower School, I'm sure you're well aware of the overcrowding. To be fair, though, I hope my son, if it was my wish, he would be in a K-5 school. But to be fair, it would be irresponsible of me to get up here and tell you which is the best plan when I don't know how much that plan will cost. I don't know how many teachers we have to move, how this structure. Does that mean that we're going to have a 900 student K-5? I can't answer that question fairly to you right now. What I can tell you is that what is best for the kids, if that's put in front of me, I will have the courage or my convictions to go with that plan. I was at a meeting about a year and a half ago, a redistricting meeting, where everyone was told where kids were going to go. And I know a lot of parents were upset with the results of that, but you know what? People are going to be upset ever on this side. But I'm going to do what I feel is right for the kids. And I feel like we spent money researching this for a year and a half, and now we're bringing in a consultant. And I understand we want to come to the correct decision. But I can promise you, regardless of what the political pressure is, I'm here to do what's right for the children. But it's irresponsible to tell you what plan it is now when the consultant hasn't even decided what that plan is. But it is a problem that, like I said, it's staring me right in the face. So that's all I can say, honestly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Balka.
until we see the results from the study from the consultant, it's really hard to move into any direction right now. The redistricting committee studied this at great length, and we have to do, like what Lucy said, it's the least disruptive to the parents, students, and staff. We have to do what's best for the students. I mean, there's studies out there that show that K-12 is better than K-6, is better than K-5, but that might not work for us. I mean, we got to do what's best for us, and best for the students, and best for our facilities here. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's best for us right now. We're going to see the data when the consultant's done, and hopefully make the best decision we can with the data we have to do what's right for the students and staff and parents.
Thank you. Mr. Kilpatrick.
Thank you. Again, to reiterate, without seeing the report, I really can't make that educated decision. However, security, whenever they decide to do, is going to be a big issue. A lot of these schools where they now have access to the parkway, people can get in and out. I've walked through the school. And I think also, I thought there was a committee that has been looking into this for a while. I'm surprised by now they have not come up with anything. Just looking at it from outside, I went to Eisenhower myself, and I know there's a lot of land back there, if that's something that's feasible, but until I see a report, I can't make an educated decision on that at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Rakuya.
The committee has been working for several years on this issue. We've considered a lot of different options, from putting art on a cart, taking prep teachers and putting them traveling so that there are more classrooms open for the students, adding on to Eisenhower, fixing up Sayreville, and even looking at redistricting and shifting the populations of our schools around. We need to look at a lot of different factors. We hired the consultant to come in to tell us, he's researching it now, what's best for our district in terms of economics, in terms of our infrastructure, how much it's going to cost us to fix up, and we are concerned about what it's going to do to our staff and how our kids are going to be disrupted. So, like everyone else has said, until we have that report come in, there's no decision to be made. We're taking this seriously, we're working hard on it, and we need to wait for that report to come in.
May I ask a question? I'm just curious how much it's cost the district so far, the year long. If you have any idea.
Can I respond? So
Absolutely.
far, the only cost has been $6,000 that was spent on a consultant, which if it saves us hundreds of thousands of dollars in building or millions of dollars in building a new school, I think that'll be $6,000 well spent.
So you just spoke about it.
I'd like to remind you that this isn't a debate. Thank you. Mr. Bishara.
For everyone's information, the report on the consultants is supposed to come out in November, so we'll have an idea what's going to happen after that. My personal opinion is that I think we should look at redistricting, and I'll be very simply, it all boils down to, are we using our facilities to their full extent? As an example, our student enrollment right now is roughly around 6,000 students. Yes, there is overcrowding in Eisenhower and Truman, but if we can redistrict and use the full extent of what Arlett is, Arlett has a capacity of 650 students. Right now, there's roughly around 450 plus students in there. So that gives you a little leeway that we can put more students into that. Also, we're going to improve the facility by adding a heating system coming forth in the spring of 2014. That's basically where I feel. Like I said, the consultant is going to come in with his opinion, and he's going to relay it to the board and to the public. From there, then we'll have to make our decision, which is best for the students, staff, and everyone in town.
Thank you. The following questions will be asked, will each be addressed to two candidates randomly, and you will have 1.5 minutes to answer as well. The first question, why have you chosen to run for the Board of Education? Mrs. Bloom.
I have chosen to run for the board, and usually I don't have a microphone, because I have taught in the district for 19 years, and I believe I can bring a unique perspective to the Board of Education. I've been on the other side of the desk, and I know a lot of the issues that the teachers have, and sometimes the board doesn't always hear that. So I would hope that I could bring that to the board, and I know that many of my colleagues have told me they will still share with me sometimes things that they would probably not share with another board member. I have lived in this town for 41 years. My 3 children have attended the schools here, and I would like to make those schools continue to be as good as they have been and better for the future students, because my grandchildren will be here soon, so too soon, but they'll be here soon. So I want those schools to maintain their ability to give the kids everything that they need.
Thank you. Mr. Bishara.
The reason I'm running for the Board of Education is very simply, I want to continue the work that's being done right now. What we've done is we've improved the curriculum, we've added AP courses, we've added more specialists into the school system, we've added a math series, we've added a reading series. You know, it's just an ongoing process of improving the curriculum within the district to make sure that our students are prepared when they graduate from our Sayreville Memorial High School. The other issue is that, again, I'd like to continue with the maintenance of our facilities. One of the things that a lot of people talk about is money. When you talk about money, it's not the amount of money that you throw at education, it's how the money is used for education. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next question. What has been your experience with the Board of Education up to this point? Helen Rakuya, please.
I've enjoyed the last 3 years tremendously serving on the board. It's given me an opportunity to really give back to the community. Growing up, the most important thing that you could do, my grandparents always said, be a doctor or be a teacher. They were the most esteemed professions. So being on the board is a chance for me to really live up to their legacy and what they've taught me to do. It gives me the opportunity to get back into, give back to the community. I feel that my expertise is in education. It's something that I can really bring to the board. My experience has been good. It's been a lot of hard work and a great learning experience. And I've been happy serving. I hope that I can continue.
Thank you. William Kilpatrick.
Well, being a newcomer, I really haven't had any experience with the Board of Education up to this point. But I can tell you, if elected, I can add a sense of fiscal accountability to this board, thus assuring that every dime that's allocated for these children is used for the children. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is, what was your school experience like? Mr. Walsh.
I had the great privilege of going to school right here in Sayreville. I graduated Sayreville Memorial High School in 1993. I went to Arlen School, went to the middle school, and I can honestly say it was the greatest experience I think we had in education. The teachers in Sayreville, they are the reason I'm here. They're the reason I went into education, the reason I became an educator. The spirit still to this day in the school, it's one of the most positive things I can say about Sayreville schools, is if you go to Sayreville on a Friday, it's blue everywhere. Everyone, from the custodial workers to the principals, to the teachers, is wearing their bomber blue. Whatever differences we have up here, whatever differences there is, the spirit of Sayreville, the hard-working, blue-collar people of Sayreville, it's such a great, nurturing environment to be in. You know, Sayreville as a town is I try to explain to people, it's one of those weird things. No one ever crowds you, but they're always there when you need them. Everyone gathers around when you need them, and it was such a positive experience. And that's the Sayreville High School and Sayreville schools I want my kids to go to. And I don't think we're quite where we were when I went to school. I mean, the spirit's there, the will's there, it's fixable. It's something we can do. But it is such an amazing environment to have gone to school in. I mean, just a couple teachers, Coach Tiskevich, Coach T, he's in rock and roll songs. I mean, he's the most honorable person I know. And
Thank you.
made me who I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bowker?
Well, my school experience in the district was I did K through 8 in St. Stan's. I did middle school for 9th grade and high school for 4 years, 3 years. The experience was, well, I didn't push myself. No one pushed me that much. And I see that the staff is different now. They seem to be more aggressive, more helpful, more pushing. They try to get the most out of the students that they can. In my eyes, it seems to improve since I've been here. I wish I worked harder when I was a student. I never was a bad student, but I just coasted through, got my E's and B's, and went on to college and went my merry way. School experience, I didn't attend much sports when I was here because I always, with happy seniors, you always had a chance to do a full-time job on the side, so that was priority, I guess. But one thing Tom always says, and I agree with him too, once a bomber, always a bomber, and I'm a bomber, and I always will be.
Thank you. Our next question. What can you do to make Sayreville schools better, and what would you not change? Mr. Bishada?
That's a very good question. It's complicated. Again, working to make Sayreville schools better is that we have to continue to improve our curriculum. We have to work to get our students into the feeling that when I grew up here in Sayreville, there was 3,500 people in photographs, 2,500 in FNF. You had a blue collar town. Today, this is what they call a bedroom community. You need an education. We have to impress upon our students that you need an education to get ahead in this world today. You know, it's no more, you know, may I take your order, please? Because that's not going to cut it. You know, in order to live, and by the way, I don't know how many people know, Sayreville has just been rated as the number one town in the state of New Jersey to raise your children. So that says something about the community. It says something about the school system that we have, because that was the number one priority when they listed what's good about Sayreville. Being number one is the school system. And that's what we have to do. We have to work to make our school and continue to make our school the best that it can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for referencing that. I was going to bring it up later. Mrs. Bloom?
I believe that maintaining a high level of student development and college and career readiness is what we need to do to make the schools better, and I know we're doing that right now. The core curriculum standards give us the guidelines that we need so that the students have what they need to succeed when they leave this district. What I would not change is the community atmosphere and the caring. I know we have a big staff turnover, but the people that work in this district, our support staff, our cafeteria, our bus drivers, having worked with these people for many years, I know that you cannot get more caring than the people that we have, and I think that's what makes this a good place to be. And I did write that down when Tom referenced. It was the best town for young families by nerdwallet.com, which is a financial and lifestyle advice website. And they used extensive ranking systems, and it was based on the public schools, the affordable housing, and the growth and prosperity of the community. So I think we should all be proud that we're here in Sayreville and continue to do that.
Thank you. Our next question. Why do you believe you should be elected to the Board of Ed? Mr. Kilpatrick?
I think I should be elected to Board of Ed because I'll not only fight for my two daughters, but for every child in this district. I'll end the current status quo and personal vendettas and do what's right for the children of this town. Thank you.
Mrs. Requia?
I think that as an educator for 30 years, not in this district, I don't even work in New Jersey, I teach from out of state, so I can bring a whole new perspective to education, bring new ideas into our district that we don't look at, different than what goes on in New Jersey. I think that our BYOD policy was one of the first in the country that we had, and other schools have pulled us up, other school districts, to find out what we're doing. I think that those are the kinds of ideas that I can continue to bring to this district to move us forward, to improve our curriculum, to get our kids ready for park testing, and get them ready for the 21st century. Our kids need to learn our technology. That's, I think, the first step that I can bring and what I want to start with.
Thank you. And our last question. What is your opinion on the current state of the schools? And what are you proud of, and what would you like to improve? Mr. Walsh.
Thank you. If I was grading a school, I think I would give it a needs improvement. There's some very good things, but we have a backward trajectory right now, like Bill was talking about a little earlier, of where our schools are going. That, again, it's all fixable. And I believe I have the passion and I'm the guy that can do it. I think I know what the problems are. Being proud of, it's like I said before, the whole culture, the spirit of Sayreville that does come through the school. And that's to the teachers, but whether they like their environment or not, they are there for the kids and they have a passion that, you know, I can't, and I think everyone's talked about it a little bit, how great it is, the people there. And what needs improvement, I have 3 kids in the district, so, you know, I skip meeting. I'm also a special needs parent, and there's a tidal wave of special ed coming, a tidal wave. And it's money, but we need to be ahead of the curve now. East Brunswick has an ABA program, which is an applied behavior analysis. Okay, I'm talking a little bit of a special needs parent now because I am. But if you don't know what that is, it's what the Surgeon General of the United States recommends for kids with autism. 1 in 4 children have autism now. It's something that's very important to me. And we should be able to offer that to our kids here. We have to offer them a free, appropriate education. That's by the law, regardless of we agree or not. And I think we should be able to keep those kids here, but to give them a free, appropriate education, I think, like Mr. Machado said before with the curriculum, why should East Brunswick kids have a better opportunity than our kids here in Sayreville?
Thank you. Mr. Balco.
I'm proud of how much we can accomplish with how much we spend right now. We don't spend much per student when we get a lot of bang for our buck. But we're also at a very critical point with funding in the state, and because of federal rules and state rules, we have the Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act is going to try to cost us 2.5% to 4% on our health care next year, and going up each year probably. And there's so many financial constraints with the state, with caps on budgets and how much we can raise our taxable amount by, so it's going to be hard to continue spending what we have to spend with constraints on the budget without finding other sources of revenue and ways to cover the bills here. We're in a very critical spot right now because of these rules that are thrown at us that we have to deal with. And that's something that we improve somehow. We just have to deal with it. It's no easy way when there's government rules telling you what you have to do and how much you have to spend and how much you can spend. So.
Thank you. At this time,
No questions from the public.
okay. At this time, I'd like to open up the podium for the public's questions. Thank you very much. There'll be a 1-minute time limit per question. Thank you very much. Come on up.
Hello, my name is Victoria Rock. I'm a Sayreville resident. One child goes to UES and another just started Eisenhower. I did not grow up in this area, but I actually love living in Sayreville. My husband grew up here. We have a lot of family members here. I have to say I was very shocked when I actually took a look at my tax bill recently and realized that 3/4 of my taxes go towards the school. Both of my kids are dealing with the overcrowding and everything, and I know that this has been a very long, drawn-out, and very frustrating process as a parent for 4 years almost for the redistricting. But I'd also like to find out, do you guys have any plans to work with the town in getting some more money into the school systems instead of increasing my taxes? Because right now my kids don't even have a playground at Eisenhower, but the PTO is the one that keeps funding it. So this is more money out of my pocket, the parents' pockets. So are you going to look at getting some more money into the school district besides taxpayers' dollars?
Is there an order to do it, or?
Anybody who wants to.
Okay. You bring up a great point, and I'm sure if anyone here, I'm sure most of you have been to a football game at Sayreville High School and seen the beautiful turf field that we have. But if you go to Old Bridge, they have a beautiful turf field too. And they have a beautiful track that they built around it also. And they went partners with the town. So I understand your point, and I noticed there's a couple of politicians back there, but I do think that it benefits us all. I think we should work as much as we can with the community for projects like that. I know for a fact the Morgan Parliament Panthers, where I'm a volunteer coach, you know, we play our games down at the county park. I think our kids should be playing on the $1 million turf we have here at Sayreville High School, which I think is great for our kids, but why are we going to charge our kids, to play on our fields? I think you're absolutely right. I think that the town, we should be doing this together in some junctions when possible. So I agree with you.
I believe, and anyone who's serving on the board can correct me if I'm wrong, but the tax formula, the amount of the tax that go to the schools, that's dictated by the state. I've lived in this town for 41 years. When I first moved here, my taxes were $1,200. They're now almost $10,000. So this is the cost of education. And unfortunately, this is the way education is funded. The board can't change the formula, but they
Correct.
can direct the money.
But obviously, if I'm paying 3/4 of my particular taxes, which my number is my number, and it doesn't seem that there's enough tax dollars going around for our schools. So obviously, instead of increasing my tax dollar and the other community people's tax dollars, is there other ways to look at? Part of the question comes down to, we have a lot of apartment complexes in the district of Sayreville. How many of those children attend all of these schools and are not paying anything towards the school? I pay for my child to go to school through my tax dollars. You know, not everybody's fortunate enough to, this comes a little bit to be a lot of politics, but this I think is associated with our school board and our district and our schools and everything. It's all intermingled.
Yeah, but it is a set state formula. I'm going to let one of the board members address that, because I do believe that the apartment complexes, I would imagine that the owners pay taxes. And that always makes sense. So even though the individuals aren't paying the school taxes, the property owners would be paying the taxes. So that would be something that they could let you know.
The private sector is always ready and willing to build a playground, to build a football team, They're always ready to give money. All they want is their name somewhere on it. So that is something that should be looked into. They're always ready and willing to give money.
As far as the taxes go, our budget dictates how much the borough charges each of the taxes for the school. I mean, the municipal budget is the municipal budget, that's that portion, and the county is the county. So, I mean, we can't ask the town for more because they budget what they budget for, and that's what they're spending it on. And we budget more because we have more, like, if you look at audits over the years, you look at the history of Sayreville, about some industries have 3,500 people. I can look at the number one employer in town, it's the Board of Ed. So we have the highest overhead, we have the most employees, we have the most costs, so it ends up being the most taxes. And like, the apartments are assessed, so the owner pays the apartments, and theoretically, the tenants pay rent, which covers the bills for the, but I don't want to comment too much politically on owning the apartment buildings around here.
We all pay taxes as well. It all affects us as well.
Right.
So I certainly hear you and how difficult it is. But keep in mind that we are one of the lowest spending in the state. We are at the very bottom. We spend, and I'm not proud of it. I don't think it's a good thing. We spend the least amount on our students. And you may think your tax bill is high, but we really
No,
are
I know,
very
it's
low.
not that I said my tax bill is high. It's that I'm not seeing enough, you know, for what I am putting into it, for what all this community's, 6,000 plus students,
And I'm not sure the exact number. Is it over 80%? More than 80% of our budget is fixed costs, which is teacher salaries, bills, maintenance. I think it's even higher than that. Most of our budget is already fixed costs. They're not even incidentals, like I can't even think of frivolous spending that we have.
Being on the finance committee, one of the issues that you brought about extra funding, yes, we did. We received $500,000 extra. Out of that $500,000, the state took 1/3. They took it back and they put it into this building of the school fund. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's for school construction. So they take with one hand, they give one hand, take with the other. So that's one of the issues. Yes, we have looked at other things of funding. I've brought up suggestions of, like on the football field, of putting advertising, like you go to the Little League fields, there's advertisements, you know, we could do that, you know, there's different things that we can do. Again, this is wrote up. Our costs are fixed. That's one of the issues. We can work on our finances, maybe around 1.2 million. I think that's about the maximum amount that we can put a 2% cap that the governor established. But again, what happens is, as Mr. Balcom mentioned, you have 2% for the school board, 2% for the town, 2% for the county. So you're seeing 6% each year.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Gallagher. My husband and I have lived in this town for 13 years now. My daughter attends the 8th grade, and my son is here in the 5th grade, and I am the PTO president here at Samsel Upper Elementary School. My question is for the candidates who are new. How often have you attended Board of Ed meetings before this? How familiar are you with the workings?
I was a teacher in the district, I was a teacher for 15 years. I was a teacher in the district for 7. So there were quite often, or many times, we attended Board of Ed meetings. I think if I remember, it was about a year ago when the contract was up, we were at quite a few of them. So I feel like I've been a parent in the district. That means I've been a teacher, a coach. I think I'm as familiar as a district with as almost anybody and the workings, inside workings of education, not only just at Sayreville, but at other districts also. So I look forward to working with people up here.
I have gone, I'd say regularly. Not enough, but I really do try to make the time. We're all working, we all have families. My wife is nice enough to watch my kids so I can go, and ever since Newtown, I've tried to go more because of the security issue. And hoping to hear more about it, I don't, unfortunately, but I need to go more, absolutely.
So if you're elected, will you go more?
I have to. I would be honored to go on this.
Yes. I've been attending board meetings for over 20 years, and a lot of people out there know that. I served as the president of the Sayreville Education Association, and I was never shy about going to the microphone and asking the board questions and letting them know when they made a little error. So I have no issues with attending board meetings. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm retired and I have the time.
Thank you.
And I agree that Lucy was never shy. So I agree you were never shy.
Good evening. My name is Carla Sutherland. I'm a resident of Sayreville, a former administrator in Sayreville, former teacher in Sayreville, so I have a lot of perspectives. I received a flyer at my doorstep from Mr. Kilpatrick. I received it today. I have a couple of questions. This evening you made a comment about skyrocketing administrative costs. I'd like to know where you got your figures from, because I checked the comparative spending guide, and we're the 6th lowest per pupil administrative costs in the state and the 3rd lowest in the county. So I don't understand the basis of your statement.
I think those numbers came from the board of Ed meeting that I went to.
I'm not talking about administrative costs per pupil. All right, so that's comparing us to districts similar in size across the state of New Jersey. And what I think people don't realize is many of our administrators have responsibilities that 2 or 3 people have in other districts. That's why the comparative spending guide makes it a per pupil cost, so that apples are apples and oranges are oranges. So I think you need to take a look at that. It's something that everyone should look at, including the parents. It's New Jersey Department of Education Comparative Spending Guide, and you'll see over the past 3 years, we've actually gone down in our per pupil expenditures for
I
administrative costs.
appreciate you bringing that to my attention, thank you.
Okay, the other question I have, I really want to know what you all think about administrative costs and maintaining the kind of administrators we need to reach your goal of supporting higher scores, better curriculum, better school. We lost 3 very good administrators. They all went to districts that paid them higher salaries. They were all very effective when they were here. Scores went up, people were happy. How are you going to balance all of that? And how are you going to be able to vote if you're conflicted out because of a relative that's working in the school system? Those are important questions to me.
I'll
Mr.
answer the
Walsh?
first part. I don't have any relatives in the school district anymore. But I agree. I would love to be able to keep as many administrators as possible. And we did lose 3. It's not my job to evaluate how good the 3 were, but we lost over 60 teachers last year. It's just my opinion that that's more important. And I'm not saying administrators are not important. And I'm not saying I agree with Governor Christie, but he did set a limit of what superintendents should make, what principals should make. I'm not saying I agree, but that's the rules now, and we're over that. And I sympathize. I wish we could have more and the best of everybody. But I'd rather lose 3 administrators than 60 teachers, and 60 the year before. Like you said, you could be the best administrator in the world. If you're dealing with new people every year, what is your leadership worth? If I have to retrain a teacher every year, does it matter if I'm a great leader anymore? That has to change before anything. That's where our intent, everything needs to be, in my opinion. Again, I respect everyone up here. I was a student and worked for the settlement, so you're still.
Yes, you are.
You're still. To me, it's all part, and we're all important, but to me, the teachers are the most important. Thank you.
I'll answer the second one. I actually do have a wife who works in the district, the district, and I'm proud that she advocates for her students, and I would have to abstain with certain questions on the board that I would not be able to vote on.
I'm not conflicted about anything. I never taught in New Jersey. I've always been outside. I have no relatives that work for the district, and none of my relatives can be hired to work for the district. So I have no conflicts with anything. As for our administrators, I think we've hired mostly from within. We've promoted from within incredible people that set the standards, set high standards, are there for our students, that our students look up to, that our kids admire. We've brought in a few people from outside the district. I think that we need an outside perspective once in a while too. So I think promoting from within, a lot of our administrators do double duty. I don't think we have any new positions. We had a director of curriculum, but we
Changed the title.
We didn't create a new position, and if anything, actually the salary of that administrator went down a couple $1,000s. So we actually saved a couple dollars there. We do have a new person to help out with our elementary people, because our elementary people ask for support over and over again, and that was a priority that I had, that I kept asking for as somebody for our elementary teachers so they can go to and have a resource, because that's what our teachers need.
Okay, well, I do have a relative that works in the district, and I'm also proud to say that my son is a teacher in the middle school. He followed in my footsteps. Isn't that the best? There are things that I would not be able to vote on, but anyone who knows me knows that I would never be shy about giving my opinion. Even if I can't give a vote, I can give an opinion. I believe that our administrators are hardworking. Any administrators, supervisors, principals that I've worked with over the years that I've been here have always been receptive to my ideas most of the time. But I believe we have to keep the salaries within a reasonable range. I know there is a cap, and I think that that's the guideline that the board would need to follow, and I'm sure that's exactly what we're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Bashad?
being on board for 7+ years, I've worked very well with the administration. I feel this, and I hope that they feel the same. I have no problems. I have no conflict. I can vote on all and any contract or issues that come up before the board. The administrative cost, everybody's been kicking this around since I started on the board. And to be very honest with you, you brought up a point again about what the administrative costs are. A lot of people feel that our staff is overpaid. And you've done your comparative testing, and it proves that it's not.
Correct.
You know, and the bottom line is, we have to work as a team in this town. We have to work with our staff, with the board, with the people, to do the best for the students in this school system. And that's the issue. It's all about, and I'm saying this, it's all about the students, okay? And that's the bottom line. And again, we have to work together. And that's one of the issues that I strive to do, is work together. Yes, I'm not in agreement with everything that goes on in the district. I'm not in agreement with a lot of the decisions that the administration wants made down. But we have an opinion. Thank you.
I have two minor conflicts, I guess. My boss is transfers for money, so I abstain from the report every month. My wife does some stuff, so I would abstain on these southern things. As far as administrative costs, they get slightly skewed a little bit because we have less administrators than other districts have. But we pay them more, so the numbers get skewed in a different way. So it seems like we overpay the administrators, but because they do more work, it's to be justified. But I agree with Helen, but sometimes it's good to turn people over and get new blood in there, get new ideas in there. Sometimes we get a little stagnant, and change is good sometimes.
So you think changes in administrators are good?
Not all at once. If the district's not progressing, sometimes you gotta move something somewhere, or make a change somewhere.
Okay, but I was talking about people that left for higher salaries in other districts.
With the fact that, I mean, sometimes we were paying more money for people doing, well, I say it was skewed. They left for more money, you're saying.
And they were very effective.
I
I think we just have to look at a balance. I'm looking for a board that's looking for balance rather than all one or all the other. And I thank you for your responses.
Hello, I'm Donna Annenson. I have no more children in the district. My children went through Sayreville schools, and I've been a resident for 29 years now. My question is, when all of you were not all of you, when most of you were answering the questions, a lot came up about curriculum and a lot of negative, somebody said something about the wrong trajectory. I don't know what that means. So, you know, I know that recently, the last few years, the district went through a revision of all the curriculum. I think they're still going through some of the subjects. So I'm wondering what your main thing is that you want to change, that exists now that you want to change. I want to know what the main thing is from everybody.
Yeah,
Anybody.
it's getting back to the first point for me, and like Ms. Sutherland just said, it is a team effort. Make no mistake about it. And make no mistake about it that this is the most challenging time there's ever been in education. I mean, I'm sure Ms. Sutherland will agree with that. I'm sure Dr. O'Fallon will agree with that. I'm sure people on the board. This is the most limited resources have ever been in the state, you know, in the country. It's a hard time for education. And it's a team effort. But to me, teacher retention is paramount. Again, Ms. Sutherland brought up a great point. And my kid's principal was one of them, Mr. Fiore in Eisenhower Middle School. I loved him. My kid loved him. And we lost him. But, again, balance. But 67 teachers last year, 60 the year before. And it's been a heavy number. And 3 administrators isn't balanced to me. I get her point. And it's a sin we lost him. It's a sin we lost Mr. Fiore. Great teacher. Left from a great principal. Thank you.
Okay, but can I say something? My question was about what you would do to change what you think is wrong. So saying you lost 60 teachers, we all heard you. I want to know what you would do about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's a couple things. The morale, I've had the ability to talk to a lot of teachers. And there's a couple here tonight, and I can tell you the morale is awful. And it's not just from what we've done here. It's part of it from the governor. It's part of everything that's going on in the state education-wise. But it's hard to be a teacher right now. And we don't always make it easier here. We don't always make it, look, I'm not going to get here and lie and say, just like I can't tell you that we're going to give administrators more money, or that we're going to give teachers more money. But our teachers can be forced to teach 6 classes here, where you don't have to in any other district. Matter of fact, in Edison, if you're asked to teach a 6th class, they'll pay you $10,000. They'll pay you a 50-year salary. Now think about it. There are some answers to make life better as a teacher without adding money to the district. If there's a shortage of teachers somewhere, why not pay somebody to teach a 6th class? We get 5 teachers, now they're making $10,000 each, and we're not paying benefits for that person. Instead of bringing a new teacher, there are things. Making our high school teachers lunch a half hour when everyone else has 40. A great point before, I would just like to say, Helen Burr, a great point. We've had teachers get sick and lose their sick days, and there's nothing we can do there. So, thank you, that was a great point.
I think the teachers need less micromanagement and more support from their supervisors.
I guess I'm next. We have new standards that are coming out. I think your question was about curriculum and what we wanted to change in curriculum.
No, my question was, what one thing would you want to change? It doesn't have to be.
Oh, okay, I thought it was
Anything,
about curriculum.
anything,
One
one
of the
thing.
things that I want to work on now is getting more kids to take the PSATs. So right now, looking into how we can make that mandatory for our sophomores, replacing the the high school proficiency exam, no, the NJ pass for sophomores, so that all students are required to take the PSATs. I'd like to see more benchmark testing that will help our teachers drive their instruction, so that they know periodically what skills their kids know, what they're deficient in on standardized level. We don't like the testing. We don't like the high stakes testing. But that test, those tests, should help drive our instruction. I'd like to have the teachers have more tools to help them improve their, because that's what they want to do. That's what we want to do. We're in this to help the kids. So I think that having, that's something that I'm looking into. So I think those are 2 things.
Okay, if you've seen my sign, you see what it says. It's all about the children, and I think that's what we have to focus on. We have to, as I said before, give the teachers the resources that they need to be successful, and this enables the children to reach their goals. If teachers have textbooks that are outdated, or they don't have workbooks, and they're spending half of their time copying workbooks on copy machines that break down on a regular basis, and I know this firsthand, then they can't do their job efficiently, and that's where the whole morale thing comes in. I'm spending my time in the copy room, I'm not, getting enough time to prepare other things when I could purchase a workbook, but we don't have the funds to purchase a workbook. So these are the things that I would like to look into and see if we can improve those things to give the teachers the resources that they need to help the children succeed.
I mentioned curriculum, and there, like everyone's talked about, there's a core curriculum that the state suggests that we teach on. But different schools have different programs of teaching this. My thing that I would like to see is have it standardized throughout Middlesex County. Again, I'll reiterate this, because of the fact that maybe the program, or combining the program, say with East Brunswick, combining maybe North-South Brunswick, or a school that has a higher testing scores, maybe they're doing something that we're not doing. Maybe by incorporating what they are doing, it'll improve what we're doing.
I would just like to improve the team we have here. We're a good team, a good family of workers here. Slightly dysfunctional sometimes, and because there's a lot of stress on the teachers. There's all this testing, there's evaluations, and they're under a lot of stress. But administrators have the same amount of stress on different levels. And both teams don't always see that. They both under different stresses. They need to work better together because they all have the same goal in mind. It's just that sometimes you just get sidetracked with minor issues and roadblocks.
The curriculum in Sayreville is actually phenomenal compared to some of my friends and the districts that they live in, so kudos to whoever picks the curriculum. But my question is, I read the paper, and it introduced, what you do if you have a job, if you have children, and they're in schools. Eisenhower parent, totally there with you. But my question is, how much time would you have to dedicate to your position on the Board of Ed, since it is a volunteer position, and we all are so busy and have so many things going on in our lives? How would you be able to, dedicate the amount of time and energy that would be needed for the position?
It's a great point, and you bring up a great point that it's not a paid position. And like I started, and I mean this, I think there's nothing more noble than public service, and I respect everyone up here. We may all have different opinions, but I think people who want to come up, put it in line, I have no doubt that everyone here wants to make things better. We might all disagree on how to do it, but as someone with 3 kids, it's busy, you're right, but education has to be a priority. And I want to set that example for my children. I want that to be a priority in life. They're doing football, they're doing baseball, they're in wrestling, my kids are in all those sports. But education has to be, and that's something I want prevalent in my house. It has to be a priority. And I think it's something we have to make time for, and be here, and be present at it. So I'm sure everyone up here is busy. It's just, that's life in 2013. We're busy, but this has to be a priority. Next.
Luckily, I have a great support staff, plenty of people that watch my kids for me. Once they go to bed, everybody's happy. So I need to teach my kids that if you don't like something, do something about it. Don't just complain about it. And I'll find the time to be there. And I'll bring them if needed. They'll have a great time.
I have the most incredible husband in the world. He is there for everything. He has been the one to hold down the fort and do it with a smile on his face. There's nothing that I can't do, that I can't participate in, because he and my daughter are both there saying, go ahead, Mom, go ahead and do it. So I have no issues. They're here tonight, and thank you very much for the past 3.5 years, because without you, not only this town would be a better place, because I couldn't serve. Thank you.
Well, as I said before, my children are grown and married, and I am retired, so I have all the time in the world to go to the board and hopefully serve on many committees if I would like.
You sound like my mom. Tired. Around with you.
I also am retired, and one of the benefits of being retired, and I can make my time to suit what the board needs. As an example, when we do finance meetings, the last year that we did it, the committee, Mrs. Dalpo and myself, and Mrs. Matko, the first meeting was 9 hours. And, we put the time in, and I can put the time in. Over the years, I put priority with the Board of Education. As an example, I have 2 sons that went to school in Alabama. I go down and visit, make sure I was back for that Tuesday night meeting, So the priority, and people can vouch, my friends and family can vouch, they tell me I gotta change my priorities, but once you're elected to the board, priorities are the board.
You know, it's like being the president, being two PTOs, you just somehow find the time.
Yes.
I try to attend as many PTO meetings as I can. Sometimes I get 3 1 week plus a board meeting, and you just get it done. In my 3.5 years or 3 month years, 8 months, whatever it was, I missed 1 meeting because I messed up my vacation schedule and it's not really stated at the time. But other than that, just get it done and get there.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Wayne Cupo, and I'm a retired teacher from Perth Amboy. And after my retirement, I decided to become a substitute teacher in Sayreville. So I got to know all the boys and girls and the teachers and faculty, except for the middle and high school, because because my daughter and son go there, and they don't want to see their daddy in the hallways. But basically, my questions have been answered here. I just wanted to say good luck to you, and all the pupils and students and faculty that I met the past 2 years have been phenomenal. They are great. So I'm asking you to really do a great job. If you want to keep the teachers here, you know, that has to do with someone offers you a lot of money, you're going to go for it. If they have families, that's how I believe a lot of times, you know. You would do things for your own family. If I was in Perth Amboy and someone offered me $20,000 extra, I would have jumped for it. And I loved where I was. But that happens. And I think it has to do with administration, talking to the teachers, and things like that. So I'm asking you, everyone that's on the board, good luck to you, and do the best that you can, because the children that we have in this town are fantastic. I wouldn't have retired if I worked in Sayreville. That's how good it was here. I'm being honest with you. It's a great school system. Thank you.
Is there any more questions? No? Okay. I'd personally like to thank you all for coming out, but at this time, I would like to give each candidate a minute to have some closing remarks. And I'll start at this end of the table. Mr. Balco?
Just want to say I elected, I'll work hard to continue trying to give you guys the best education we can for the least amount of money we can. I just hope I can get your support. Thanks.
I would ask for your vote on November 5th, line 2. I want to continue working with board members to bring the best possible education to the students in this town. The bottom line is our children are our future. What better way to prepare for the future of having our students and our children the best educated they can be? Thank you.
Well, it seems that we all agree that this is all about the children. Well, that's my line. But I think that everyone here is dedicated, and I would hope that my experience would carry me over 44 years in education. And I believe that I have the knowledge, I have the training, and I have the time. And I hope you'll vote for me, because they say the best for last, my name is last on the ballot.
I am proud that the article came out this week that Sayreville is #1, and the #1 factor being our schools. I'm proud to serve this community. I'm proud that my daughter goes to these schools. I'm proud to raise my daughter here and my family here, and I'd be proud to continue to serve here, and I hope that you will allow me to do that. Thank you.
As my daughters start their educational journey at Wilson, I want to be a part of it, as well as every other child in this district. And I will do whatever it takes to give these kids the tools they need to succeed. Thank you.
Thanks again so much for having me tonight. I look forward to working with people on the board here. And I just want to reiterate what I said earlier. We're all in it for the children. There's no doubt about that in my mind. What's most important to me is how do we help the children? What's most important to them? To me, it's the teachers, the people in the trenches, the people that we're working with them every single day. The cafeteria work, the support staff. That's all vital. Those are people that are around our children. They're molding them. I grew up in this town. I had that kind of upbringing. I have teachers that I still talk to today. And I'm so thankful for it. It's why when I had a family, I decided to move to Sayreville. And I want my kids to grow up in this town. I want them to, walk the same halls I walk the same streets I played on, the same playground, but I want them to have the same opportunities. I don't want them to have a different teacher every year. I want my oldest son to have the same teacher as my youngest son. I want those people who develop those relationships, the same ones I had. the same teachers who maybe who went in today. Thank you.
If I could just say one more thing. I just want to say a happy retirement to Ms. Pugliese, who I just found out retired. I wanted to say this before, but she instilled music when I was just in Eisenhower School with me, and I could not believe that she just retired, so I just want to say happy retirement.
Thank you very much. Before we end our forum, I would like to remind you to please vote on November 5th. And if you want to make a choice or make decisions or have a say in things and have a voice, you have to get out there and vote, and your vote does count. Finally, I would like to thank the candidates and all of you for coming out tonight, and enjoy your weekend. Round of applause.